My name is John Vosi. I am the WGBH radio manager, and it's great to have you all here. I think we're in for an exciting evening and a very historic evening, so it's wonderful to see all of you. I want to thank Charlie Washburn and Bonnie Kaplan from VSA for coming to us and proposing that we host this evening's event. We're very excited by that. For WGBH, this is sort of a perfect event. It's a great performance. There's the educational component, and it's available to everybody. I have the pleasure of introducing Charlie Washburn. I've known Charlie for over 25 years now. We were involved with presenting arts in the community many years ago, but never anything as exciting and ambitious as tonight. So please welcome Charlie Washburn.
Thank you, John, and welcome to this lovely Fraser Performance Studio. And the concert tonight with Henry Butler, which we call inclusive by design, in a style which we're trying to promote. And one of the purposes for tonight's concert and recording is to help spread the word about this new idea. As John said, I'm Charlie Washburn. I'm the Executive Director of VSA Arts of Massachusetts. We are the Massachusetts affiliate of an international organization founded by Gene Kennedy Smith and affiliated with the John F. Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. And we are working throughout the country and around the world. Our work involves a lot of work in education with students, and that work led us to an understanding that there is great value and benefit in approaching teaching, instruction, and learning using all the senses, and a multisensory approach to instruction and learning benefits everyone, and it is also a lot more fun. So it was that idea, that notion, that realization, which led us down this pathway to explore this idea of applying a multisensory approach to the performing arts. If you listen to WGBH in the morning, John Hockenberry is a familiar voice. He is the host of The Takeaway. He's also a great friend of VSA Arts. He's been following and supporting this work for a great many years, and he is well known to many of us for his journalistic and his work as an author, a TV journalist, and I dare say humorist from time to time. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to John Hockenberry to be our MC for tonight's adventure. Thank you.
All right. So, first of all, cell phones off. This is a recording studio, and unlike your auditoriums or, say, Fenway Park or other artistic venues here in the Boston area, in a recording studio, if your cell phone is on, we can actually GPS locate you, and in the control room, they can vaporize you, and it will not harm your neighbor. So please turn the cell phones off. This capability is only available here at this Fraser studio. It's one of the experimental bits of technology that not too many people know about it. You don't want to find out about it tonight, do you? There we go, cell phones off. All right, far be it from me to, in any sense, in any way, do anything other than to thank my good friend John Vosi and Charlie Washburn for this opportunity. I do need to say that there is, in fact, contrary to what you've been led to believe, nothing historic about tonight's performance. There is nothing new about it, and in fact, there's nothing special about it. It's brilliant. You're going to have the time of your life, but how many of you have been to a concert in your lives? Raise your hands. Right, of course. And maybe in the last few years you've been to a concert, say you went to the Zeppelin concert or something, you whipped out your cell phone, you didn't turn it off, right? And you texted a friend and you said, they're playing Stairway to Heaven. You know, we have a name for that, captioning, okay? Maybe the next day you called up a friend and you said, oh, it was, I mean, the lights were incredible. They had this totally awesome front band. Okay, we have a name for this, audio description, okay? Maybe you were watching the concert, okay, and you noticed that in fact, if it was the Clapton concert, you noticed a little sort of strange kind of body language. The body would, you know, I don't know. I don't know if he's in a good mood tonight. Maybe he didn't sleep well last night, or maybe something with the groupies. I don't know. You know, hey, what do we call that? Sign language, okay? Body language. A set of symbols delivering a multiple channel, an alternative channel of the concert in a different language. Well, close your eyes during that concert. What do you see? We call that visual art. The colors, the forms, the dreamy recombinations of shapes and colors and memories and experiences, visual art. And say you're looking at a painting at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts and you suddenly hear the sounds of what that painting evokes. We have a name for that, music. So tonight, we're doing nothing new, we're doing nothing special, but people with disabilities are leading the reunification of the performing arts into what we know it to be, a multi-channel, multi-platform experience involving all the senses at all times, and we have the most incredible creative team to deliver the concert of your life tonight. First of all, let's just applaud what you're about to hear. Now, detailed introductions and bios of all of the creative presenters are in your program, and I urge you to take a look at those. But captioning for us tonight, Janet Mahoney. Ladies and gentlemen. Our audio description comes from, and I will give the floor over to her for a moment, Celia Hughes.
The Fraser Performance Studio is approximately 30 by 50 feet with a 40-foot ceiling. The ceiling is covered with beige styrofoam squares of various sizes, inset among recessed lighting and standard theater lights. Two walls of the studio have 4-foot by 10-foot wooden panels of a blonde color inserted in sections that alternate with gray acoustic panels. Encircling the room at a height of about 30 feet are rectangular stainless steel wall fixtures. 3 small windows on the right wall cut through to the lobby. The recording room window juts into the room on the left wall with a large clock and digital timer above it. The floor is 2-foot by 4-foot sections of plywood with 2 red patterned rugs in front of the piano. The performers are arranged along the front wall facing the audience. In the center of the wall has a floor-to-ceiling gray acoustic screen with a bright blue WGBH logo projected on it. In front of the screen is a black grand piano with an opened lid. A piano bench is on the left side of the piano. 2 microphones face the piano, and 1 microphone bends in toward the bench. To the left of the bench is a raised platform where the ASL interpreters stand. To the left, a 10-foot by 12-foot black canvas stands with a black cloth covering the floor. In front of the canvas is a 3-foot flat wooden box on wheels that holds the artist's tools, acrylic and fabric paints, 1-foot wooden slats with red handles, a window washing squeegee on a pole, various artist brushes attached to long round wooden sticks, a paint scraper, and small Caran d'Ache paint markers. To the left of the canvas, the captioner sits and a monitor for real-time captioning. On the far right of the performance area, the describer sits in a straight back chair and the MC sits in a wheelchair on her right. Behind them, in the right corner, another monitor displays captioning. Underneath the sign says recording.wgbh.org. Henry is wearing black sunglasses, a red and black striped jacket, a black open collared shirt, and red pants. The artist Nancy wears a blackish suit that is awash with paint smears and splashes and glitter and speckles. She wears black Japanese slippers, and her head is wrapped in a large black strip of cloth while her hair sits atop her head in a 5-inch poofy bun. The team of interpreters is comprised of 2 females, Jo and Allie, and 1 male, Mikey. They wear dark clothing. Mikey and Allie work as a team, and Jo works alone. Allie sits in the audience at a music stand. The describer takes notes and reads from a black notebook. Description of tonight's performance will be provided at several times during the evening instead of the usual practice when description is offered via headsets exclusively for people who are blind or have low vision.
Thank you, Celia. All right, let's recognize the rest of the creative team formally here. Our ASL interpreters are Mikey Krenick and Ali Hirma. And Jeanette Ocampo-Welsh. Our visual artist for this evening, we have as an incredible treat Nancy Ostrovsky, whose global vision you will see in real time realized on that canvas. Nancy, thanks so much. And finally, our musician tonight, but the word barely describes him. His life is the definition of the word vision in my book. Ladies and gentlemen, award-winning recording artist Henry Butler.
Good evening. It's good to be with you. It's good to be with all of you tonight. And I hope that you will enjoy at least something that we do here. We're going to start off with a piece entitled "Sooner Will Be Done with the Troubles of the World." Sooner will be done with the troubles of the world. Troubles of the world. The troubles of the world. Sooner will be done with the troubles of the world. Going home to live with God. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. Going to live with God.
troubles of the world. Soon will be done with the troubles of the world. On the home to live with God. No more weeping and no wailing. No more weeping and no wailing. No more weeping and wailing. I'm going to live with God. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I want to meet my mother. I'm going to live with God. Going to live with God. I'm going to live with God.
Thank you. Talk about contrast. This next piece was written by W.C. Handy and was published, I think, somewhere around 1912. And it's entitled St. Louis Blues. Thank you very much. St. Louis Blues. The next piece I wrote back in, I think it was might have been 92, I think it was. We called this Tritonal Commission. First thing we came up with was Trilateral Commission. But we thought we'd take the politics out of it. Tritonal Commission. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now we're going to turn it over to Celia, who's going to do a little audio description.
Okay, Nancy, born in North Africa and living in Asia, was influenced for her painting to music. Reflexive throughout, the soon I will be done, nodding and smiling, and at last standing erect with her face uplifted. She begins with the next song by placing her paint in her hand and gently placing her hand on the canvas, tenderly creating a reddish-brown circle on the canvas. She then moves her hands and her fingers to leave traces of color on one side and the other of the canvas. With multiple colors on the wooden slat, she then striped the canvas across the center line with swatches of blue, red, turquoise, yellow, green, and others. Embodying the rhythm, she dances on tiptoe as she works with the carandash, leaving her impressions. Mikey, taking his cues from Allie, glances over Henry's shoulder. His body sways from side to side, moving his head in beat with pursed lips. He points to the painter. He fingerspells. He touches his face, places his hand over hand, while Allie mouths the flow of the music from the audience. And Mikey moves as the roving camera crosses his path. In the first song, Henry's mouth gently touches his microphone as his left foot pounds out the rhythm and his right foot works the pedals. The piano strings are reflected in the raised piano cover.
Yes. My next piece is a piece that was written by Professor Longhair, Henry Roland Bird, and this piece is entitled Baby, Let Me Hold Your Hand.
Baby, let me hold your hand. Baby, let me hold your hand. But when I hold your hand, want you to understand. You know that I wanna be your man. Baby, let me hold your hand. Baby, let me hold your hand. But when I hold your hand, want you to understand. Wanna be a loving man. Baby, don't turn me down. Baby, don't turn me down. Well, if you turn me down, you make me feel like a clown. Just wanna be around. Baby, let me hold your hand. Baby, let me hold your hand. 'Cause when I hold your hand, want you to understand. Wanna be your loving man. Baby, don't turn me down. Oh, baby, don't turn me down. 'Cause if you turn me down, you make me feel like a clown. Just wanna be around. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much.
I listened real carefully there, Henry. I didn't hear any hand holding in that piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, well, we actually held some hands with the piano. So, little Professor Longhair, baby, let me hold your hand. This next piece is a piece I wrote, gosh, back in 1987, when I was 684 years old. Yes. And this piece was supposed to give the guy who's after this girl a little bit of play, but not much. You know, we call it soft platonicism. Probably should have been soft Platonism, but at this point, who cares, you know? So, nice ballad, soft platonicism. Thank you. Soft platonicism. The next piece is a piece that was written by Chris Kinner. Anyway, this piece is entitled Something You Got.
Something you got makes me work all day. Something you got, baby, make me bring home my pay. Something you got, you ought to know. I want to say right here. Something you got me, ooh, makes me feel alright. Something you got, well, you ought to know. I wanna say right here, nah, nah, oh, I love you so.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. This next piece is one of my newer pieces, and I wrote it maybe a couple of months ago, after observing a little bit of the culture environment of Denver, Colorado. I've been living there for since Katrina, just about since Katrina. And I think I got a little bit of a handle on what Colorado, and especially Denver, is about. So in this piece, you're going to hear a little bit of the country flavor, a little bit of twang. And you'll hear some other things perhaps, but this piece is entitled Lady Denver.
paint box to the center of the canvas, Nancy kneels through the intro of Baby, Let Me Hold Your Hand, and then with paint in her right palm, she slowly rises to rub her fist into the left side of the canvas, and a body of a woman begins to take shape. Using the wooden slat, reds, blues, yellows, purples are added to both side borders. The woman's face is outlined with yellow, her right arm extended with a pointing finger and a bent leg. During soft platonicism, Nancy sits on her knees and then uses her hand to apply faint blue streaks. Her hands are slowly becoming covered with paint. The Caran dash develops into a series of connected lines and dots across the center line. Underneath, using paint squeezed from a bottle, a red figure sits at a piano and a blue winged figure takes off. Joe, for Something You've Got, sometimes mouths the words, bouncing in time to the music, her fingers lightly playing through the air during the instrumental. She touches her nose and pulls her hand off in a large circle. She struts front to back on the platform, swaying her hips as she moves, pointing to Henry, mouthing some of the words. She smiles, frowns, open her eyes wide. Her entire body moves in unison with the beat. Henry's eyes are closed and his lips are pursed. His heel gently taps the floor while his fingers skip across the keys. Sometimes his jaw works when the music is forte.
Yes.
She got it right again. She did. That's twice in a row.
She's good.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You're good, Henry.
Well, thank you.
Man, we're all, you know, I have to say, why aren't all concerts like this, for heaven's sakes? I mean, but for Nancy, I would not have noticed that there is a naked woman dressed in flames on top of the piano. And that Henry can fly. I would have missed that completely. If it wasn't for Celia, I would have missed the reflection of the strings in the piano. And I think I got a really good idea because of Joe of what that something is that she got.
We'll talk about it after the show.
Yeah.
Yes.
What we're going to do right now, we're going to have a little bit of a call and response thing. So whatever I sing, I want you to repeat what I sing, all right? Just repeat it after me. Here we go. Let him roll, let him roll. Let him roll. Let him roll.
Thank you.
Oh, Henry. Henry. This is a bit of a reunion for
Yes.
me and Henry Butler.
Yes.
The first time we were together, we were tromping around by the Brooklyn Bridge, and you were carrying not a piano, you had a camera.
That's right.
We were doing a radio piece back in the early 90s.
Was it the early 90s or
yeah.
late 80s?
Late 80s, early 90s. I can't even remember exactly when it was. It's getting on to be, 20 years.
Yes.
Back when you were 687, probably. And I was only 300 years old or something like that. But we were exploring in a radio documentary the idea of what it's like to be a blind photographer. And of course, radio seeming to be the least intuitive medium to explore that, in fact, was the best medium
I
to
agree.
explore that.
I agree.
Because I've never heard a better description of what it's like to pull the trigger on a camera than listening to that radio piece as you describe it. What is it like? What goes on in your mind when you hit the shutter?
Well, all I'm interested in doing is capturing an image. The image is based on what I get from the person who is giving me the description. They give me an audio description of the piece that I think I should capture. And I have to say that you were great at it. You were wonderful. And also, I don't know if you remember this, but it was your idea for you to be my eyes as I sort of pushed you around as we were moving about, taking the pictures.
No, that's right. I mean, we became this like single object. You were holding the chair. I became this sort of cane descriptor unit.
Yes.
I was sort of experiencing what Henry was experiencing me experience. And this was back before digital photography, when you could see the pictures right away.
That's right.
We were instantaneously producing the pictures.
That's right. It was wonderful.
But yeah, because I got into this. Joe Richmond, the really talented producer who I'd worked with a little bit. This was the first really extensive documentary that we did together. I was thinking, oh, okay, wow, all right, so blind photographer, okay, sure, all right, But the moment really, it meant something to me when I was looking at your shots, and you captured this picture of a seagull sort of flying through with this beautiful shot of the bridge and all of the architecture, the cabling and everything of the bridge. And I mentioned this, you got the seagull, Henry, you got the seagull. And he said, tell me that again, tell me that again. And so I just told the story again of you capturing the seagull with all the cabling in the background.
That's right.
And I remember you just took a breath and went, yeah, that's photography. And I thought to myself, man, that is photography. This capturing of a moment.
For quite a while, I used to think that I was getting a lot of these great shots accidentally, and then it just kept happening. It just kept happening, and I thought, well, hey, there's really more to it than just getting a picture. There's more to it. And actually, I got into it because I was trying to find a different way to develop my intuitive faculties. I thought that, well, I had already embarked on a way of studying the development of not only intuition, but inner self and all of that. But I figured that outside of my musical development, that there had to be other ways for me to try to do this. And I was going to a lot of visual arts exhibits at the time. At the time, I was dating a woman who was really a closet artist. She didn't want to get involved in doing all the exhibitions and spending all the money on that. But she liked helping me to, get my pictures together. So I found that it was such a great way to help me with intuition. At that point in time, not only was I doing photography, but I started playing all improvised concerts. And I thought, wow, man. Sort of like what it sounds like when you hear some of Keith Jarrett's concerts. Really, really had a lot of fun with that.
Well, there's a certain amount of, chauvinism that comes with this notion of being normal. And somehow the accidental quality of photography, becomes for the traditional art of photography a kind of like, well, I chose to do that. And if it was an accident, somehow that diminishes the form in some way. So when you say, I was getting these shots by accident, there's an accidental quality to all photography. You just underscore it and give it reverence in a way that I don't think I could have understood without meeting you, Henry, quite frankly.
Well, photography, like any other art, is an art form where you can stumble upon things. And not only, and then as you do it, as you so-called stumble upon things a certain amount of times, you know the feeling, and you know how to get back to that place. You know how to make that thing happen again and again. And then, so I was doing analog photography for a while, and then I met Herman Leonard, who said, "Oh man, go digital." And and when I started doing digital, I realized how much easier it was, because you could see the pictures right away, and even if I didn't see them, the person who was helping me could see the shot that I've just taken, and it was almost like having an Instamatic camera again.
Yeah, bringing back the good old days.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Well, we're going to hear some more music in a second, but I've got a couple of really goofy Conan O'Brien questions for you, Henry.
Okay.
Are you the kind of photographer that has a bunch, a zillion lenses?
Well,
what's the best lens for a blind photographer?
I think they're all about the same.
Yeah. Well, sure.
But
of course they would be.
But I mean, I think it's one of those deals where you will yourself to overcome the obstacles, and you will yourself to make it happen regardless. But in saying that, I have stuck with Canon over the years, because I find that all the lenses that I used to use with my analog camera, I can use with my digital. And I think a lot of the people, that's what they do. They stick with either Nikon or Canon or...
Have you checked with Canon for an endorsement, maybe?
I really haven't yet.
Be hard to design the slogan.
Well, no, I got the slogan.
Yeah, what's the slogan?
I got the slogan. If a blind person can do it, anybody can.
Go Canon.
Yeah.
All right, one last thing I learned thanks to Janet, that thing you do in one of the songs, I can't remember the title of it now. No, it's actually spelled Narwhoa. I did not know that until tonight.
Oh. What song is that?
I don't know, something you were doing, you were kind of scatting there at the end.
Oh, yeah,
Janet
yeah,
spelled it out,
yeah.
Narwhoa, and I said, well, of course it's Narwhoa.
There
you go. All right, Henry, take it away. Let's do another set here. Henry Butler, Nancy Ostrovsky, and the rest of the team.
John, you're great. Oh, that was something you got. Yeah. Okay, so now this next piece was written by Otis Redding and Steve Cropper. And we've changed the arrangement a bit and made it a sort of a ballad type piece. But I think you'll like it. The piece is entitled Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay.
be sitting here till the evening comes, watching the ships roll in, and I will watch them roll away again. That's why sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Ooh. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Left my home in Georgia, headed for the Frisco Bay. I had nothing to live for. Seems like nothing wanna come my way. That's why sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Ooh. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time. Looks like nothing's gonna change. Everything still remains the same. How can I do what people tell me to do? So I guess I'll remain the same. Sitting here resting my bones, 'cause that loneliness won't leave me alone. 2,000 miles I roam just to make this dock my home. That's why I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the time roll away. Ooh. Sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. After Katrina, I moved to Boulder, Colorado, and spent a year there. Stayed in Boulder until mid-November of 2006. I know I'm an old man, but anyway, stayed there till November of 2006, moved to Denver, and realized that the music scene between Boulder and Denver was very different from New Orleans. Almost non-existent, actually. So recently I wrote this tune called New Orleanian in Exile. And I'm going to play that for you next. Thank you very much. Yeah. Yes. The next piece appears on my newest CD, Pianola Live. And it's a Jerome Kern piece. He had another bum that he wrote with. What's his name? Oscar. Somebody like that. And yeah. All right. Piece is entitled Old Man River. Old Man River, Old Man River, you must know something, but he don't say nothing. He just keeps rolling, keeps on rolling along. He don't plenty does. He don't plant cotton, and that plant them, they are soon forgotten. That old man river keeps on rolling along. You and me, we sweat and strain. Bodies are aching and they are racked with pain. Tote that barge, hey, lift that bell. Drink a little scotch and you land in jail. In jail. Oh, I get weary and so sick of trying, tired of living, but scared of dying. That old man river just keeps rolling. Old man river, he just keeps rolling and rolling. Old man river keeps on rolling along. Oh man, river, you.
Throughout the evening, Mikey's gestures have become larger, fluid, and in tight unison with the music. When the music is low and soft, he keeps his hands low on his body. As the crescendo builds, he lifts his body, shakes his head, bounces, sometimes interacts with Nancy's, smiles with his tongue rubbing his lips, sometimes talking with the audience. His eyes sparkle. During twinkle treble clef notes at the end of Dock at the Bay, Mikey's chin is lifted while his fingers glance through the air, lightly moving from left to right. And at other times, his right and left hand work in opposition, revealing how he sees Henry's hands move together and apart. Nancy has worked on her knees during the last few songs. In between painting moments, she has washed her hands in a small white bucket. A crouched figure wearing a fedora sits on the center squares of color. The winged figure has more feathery extensions reaching back to the piano player. A vivid white line runs diagonally up to the right corner of the canvas, and slapping white with the slats across the bottom of the canvas, Nancy has worked white lines into the painting. Henry settles into the bench when he sings Old Man River. Beads of water glisten across his forehead.
Yes. William E. Preston is the composer of the next piece.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Preston was a big influence on me for a while in my rhythm and blues development. And I would think that he got a lot of his stuff indirectly from New Orleans, since Ray Charles got a lot of his stuff from New Orleans. Ray Charles spent a few years down there hanging out with Professor Longhair and all the guys who hung out at the Dewdrop Inn in New Orleans in the early 50s. And Billy Preston got a lot from Ray Charles, and you'll hear...
Are you going to do Go Round in Circles? I might explode if you do.
We want to see you explode. That's what we're doing.
Ooh!
Yeah. I got a song that ain't got no melody. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I got a song that ain't got no melody, Lord. I'm gonna share it with my friends. We'll go around in circles. We'll fly high like a bird up in the sky. We'll go round in circles. We'll fly high like a bird up in the sky. I got a song that ain't got no harmony, oh Lord. I'm gonna keep it to myself. I got a song that ain't got no harmony. I'm gonna keep it to myself. We'll go around in circles. We'll fly high like a bird up in the sky. We'll go around in circles, oh Lord. We'll fly high like a bird up in the sky.
while. Oh, I can't stand it, ain't got no moral, Lord. Let the bad guy win every once in a while when it go around in a circle. When it fly high like a bird up in the sky. When it go around in a circle. When it fly high like a bird up in the sky. When it go around in a circle. When it fly high like a bird up in the sky. When it go around in a circle, oh Lord. When it fly high like a bird up in the sky. Oh Lord, oh Lord, oh Lord, la 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 la, la 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 la.
We're gonna blow, Captain.
Thank you. The next piece I wrote as a tribute to one of the great piano heroes, one of the great piano geniuses of New Orleans. The guy's name was James Booker. James Booker could merge or fuse Grieg into any sort of blues, could find a way to go from Moonlight Sonata by Beethoven to B.B. King or anything that he had written himself. And I wrote this piece because I was sort of thinking about this rhythm that he likes to do, or that he used to like to do. And the rhythm sounds like this. And the rhythm actually comes from Martinique, but it's swung. So think about that as you're hearing the piece. The piece is entitled L'Esprit de James, or The Spirit of James. Thank you. Let's free the James. Thank you. And a tribute to one piano genius, and we go to another guy who was not only a piano genius, but a pioneer of sorts. Talking about Professor Longhair. We've done one of his pieces. This piece is entitled Tipitina. Now, don't necessarily look for any meaning in this. It's just a fun song. Yeah.
Tell me why
snaps her fingers, lifts her bended knees high, opens her mouth wide, puffs out her cheeks, points to the painting, dances, points to Henry, shakes her hands out, raises her eyebrows, swings her body. She snaps and plays along. The painting. Nancy taps a paint-spattered aluminum pie tin against her hand as she and Joe dance. She adds X's and small dashes to the white diagonal line. With the brush on a long stick, she adds dots of white. Twirling the brush around her head, she then applies dots of white to the borders. A squiggly white line runs down the right side beneath the woman outlined in red with the pointing arm and bended knee. The white lines give the appearance of a raised piano cover, with the soft lines and dots extending across the canvas, reflective piano strings. At last, the first red and yellow circle at the right is now the head of a figure wearing sunglasses and a red and white striped jacket with red pants, all outlined with white, seated at the piano that stretches across the expanse of the canvas, yellow hands on the keys with a red woman dancing, pointing at him from the left, and the small figure with the hat sits on the edge of the piano. Henry, shoulders bounce and sway. He smiles broadly.
She's good at it. Oh, yeah. Yes. This next piece, we call it Samico. But it obviously comes from Ico. Yeah. And in our band arrangement, we add a lot of material to the piece, a lot of musical material. We don't mess with the words too much. So, this piece, Some Ico. Ico under, Pacamo filo all'ande, Giacomo filande, talking about hey now, Ico under, Giacomo filo all'ande, say Giacomo filande. Spine boy and your spine boy sitting by the fire. My spine boy to your spine boy, gonna set his flag on fire. Talking about hey now, Ico one day. Giacomo filo all'ande, Giacomo filande. Talking about hey now, Ico one day. Giacomo filo all'ande, Giacomo filande.
my head now, hey now. I go ande, Giacomo filo anande, Giacomo filande, talking my head now, hey now. I go ande, Giacomo filo anande, Giacomo filande.
Thank you.
Henry Butler, ladies and gentlemen. Nancy Ostrovsky. Woo! Celia Hughes.
You guys want to hear another one?
All right. We're going to have some fun on this one.
Put on your red dress, babe. Now you can clap your hands. 'Cause we were way out tonight. Put on your red dress, baby child. 'Cause we going out tonight. You better wear some boxing gloves now, in case some fool might wanna fight. Put on your high heel sneaker shine. Wear your wig hat over your head. Put on your high heel sneaker shine.
ladies and gentlemen, we've enjoyed bringing some music to you tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the program. We got one more thing we're going to do before we leave here tonight. We got to get you to sing one more thing. Just repeat after me. Here we go. Hidey, 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 hide. Hidey, 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 ho. 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 Hidey, 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 hide. We'll try this one more time, one more time. One more time, here we go. Hidey, 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 hide. Hidey, 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 ho. 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 Hidey, 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 hide. Thank you.
Oh. Oh, man. Well, anybody who says that total inclusion by design in a performance does anything but add value to the artistic experience doesn't know art, ladies and gentlemen. Henry Butler and the gang here. Thanks to John Bosi of WGBH and Charlie Washburn of VSA Arts, Massachusetts. And we've got some time for questions from you on anything that happened today to any of the artists up here. We've got a few minutes to do that. Charlie, we're okay on time? We're way over time, yeah. Yeah. We want to make this as interactive as we can. All right, in the middle.
I have a question for our famed photographer. As you've transitioned to digital photography and you're using your intuition and picking things up, have you been finding digital anomalies on there? What are you finding there? Any orbs or other elements?
You're talking to me.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, let me say, I'm a pretty simple guy. So, I mean, I've learned a lot of technique over the years. I try not to think about much of that. What I can tell you is that the digital camera, the digital mechanism is easier. It allows me to be more intuitive. It allows me to be sometimes a lot more covert, to take people's pictures when they don't know that I'm doing it.
And probably might not suspect.
Yeah, that's right. And that's very, very true. So I don't, and it's easy for me to use a person's eyes to get immediate stimulus feedback, which I really, really love. I started out with an Instamatic camera, and now I've gone back to one.
Huh.
You know, so that's really why the latest camera that I've been using is a, I want to get it right, it's a 5D, I think it is, Canon, and it's a great camera, you know. Will do a lot more than I probably can do with it, but as I grow into it, I'm finding that it's allowing me to take better, quicker pictures. It's allowing me to, you know, move around faster and grab stuff that I probably wouldn't be able to get with most analog cameras.
You know, if you do get the endorsement deal with Canon, it will be a high moment in the history of disability culture. I'm looking forward to that, yes, indeed. I have a question for you, Nancy. There's a tendency, I think, in this enterprise here, this venture, to think of you and your colleagues there as, in some sense, literally or causally kind of interpreting the experience of Henry's music, in that you're doing some sort of representation of his music almost literally on the canvas, when in fact what you're creating here is parallel and quite independent of what Henry is doing. How do you achieve and maintain that sense of independence and distinctness that Henry's music and his work is one thing and your painting is something quite different, even though they're obviously different mediums?
Well, I've been doing this for about 30 years, and I've just had a fascination with music and how it affects my art. So it started out of curiosity, and I've made a lot of mistakes, but I keep trying to kind of merge that. So I also approach each situation when I'm painting the music. I change myself so it fits in and merges, so I can be part of the band.
Being part of the band.
I will, yeah.
That's what we all
I
wanna
just
be.
want to be part of the band,
yes,
but
indeed.
I got to bring my paints.
Interpreters, if you could collectively answer this for me, where does the transcription function of what you do end and the dance function of what you do begin, if there's a possibility of even marking that transition point?
I'm not hungry. I probably don't need to eat the mic. Well, this is Mikey answering. For me, when I was first asked to do this show, Joe asked me to perform here, and my first response was, I freaked out. And the reason was, I thought blues is not necessarily my bag. I didn't know much about the blues. Also, music without any lyrics, I thought, eek. So I gave it some thought for about half an hour, and I met with Henry, and he gave me the music list, and he gave me information about the songs and what the actual lyrics meant in some of the stories, and I thought, wow. You know, in 35 years ago, when I was a kid in deaf school, they made me take music, God only knows why, but I have to say that I really learned a lot from this. I basically got the meaning, and I just really have to say tonight I winged it, and I really liked it. And I think that after the first song without any lyrics, I relaxed because I sort of got in the groove and figured out where my place was amongst the artists on stage. Now, I'm not so sure, you know, actually, if they'd asked me to do this again, you bet your ass I'd say yes.
Hey. You're in the band, babe. You're in the band. Other thoughts from you guys on that?
Hi, Joe Welch here. I think to some extent, the music that he's playing is supposed to evoke the dance inside of you. And so I think that as part of the interpretation, it's supposed to bring that out of you. And so I feel that that's to some extent part of the lyric, part of the music, part of the story that's being told. And so, like, especially the ones that were so much more New Orleans influenced, there's no way to stand still. There's no way for me, at least, to stand still. And so I felt that there were moments where that was what the story was being told. You could visualize people, dancing and just, being rhythmic.
Celia, talk about the choices that you make in deciding what details and in what sequence to put them in your descriptions.
Well, this is a really complicated way to provide description, because ordinarily you preview, you take time to think about your phrases, to think about how you're going to describe something. And in this environment, it's like, just look at it and write it down and try not to interpret and try to say what you see and also have it make sense. So I knew ahead of time that I was going to do it in segments, and I was going to start with the painting and try to reveal what was happening in the painting during the segments. I would focus on just one interpreter each time, even though maybe there were two interpreters. And I would end with Henry. And because Henry is at the piano, I really wanted to just sort of pick up his mood and what he was conveying. And also it was our silent way of me ending with Henry, so he knew I was finished, so that he could then pick it up. But the choices were, I thought ahead of time about choices and ways that I wanted to say things, but sometimes it just comes out. The music makes
Right.
you think and you see, and it just is, I wanted it to be as colorful and as descriptive as possible.
Well, I don't know if any of you had this experience, but there was a whole other narrative to the performance with Celia there, because something would happen. Nancy would do something, or Henry would do something. I go, wonder what Celia's going to say about that. It's like, oh, I bet she's going to nail that one, And so when she'd go through the details, well, no, she didn't think of that. Obviously that wasn't important. I thought it was, but she didn't think it was important. And then there was that cliffhanger moment after the first time when Henry said, yes. And then I went, is she going to get it right? I mean, I knew she got it right, but still there was this drama of, yes, she did it again, Celia, all right. And so for me, the idea of someone doing audio description has transformed itself this night from that person who sits next to you in the theater who talks during the movie, who you want dragged out, to this sublime otherness that is actually a part of the art. So, Charlie, thank you for that. A couple of final questions from the audience over here.
I had a question for Henry. How did the energy of the other players on stage help you or affect your performance in comparison to, say, members of a band?
Very good question. First of all, we sort of rehearsed this yesterday, so there were no surprises, except maybe how I molded and how I worked the songs sometimes. But the songs were in the order that we discussed, and I frankly know what I generate, and I appreciate what the other people are generating, and I'm happy to be able to have something to do with what they're saying. It's a band, it's an ensemble, and so we sort of play off of each other, and that's the way I look at it. I introduce something, they grab it and play with it, and they introduce something, and if I get it, maybe I play with it. If I don't, I generate something else. I always have believed that I am a generator,
and I like that. I like the fact that I, first of all, believe it, whether it's true or not, But truth is, I think it is, and I've been generating all of my life, and I'm happy to be at a place now where we can work with different teams of people, different ensembles, where we're all playing with each other's thoughts and ideas and generating what we can from that.
Other question over here?
There's an artist in Boston, a fine photographer, Reggie Jackson. He studied in Yale with a very famous ethnographer who used to go to Africa, spoke fluent Yoruba. So anyway, he said there was a square in New Orleans where there used to be drumming during the time of slavery. They were allowed to do it on
Congress
Sundays
Square.
or something like that. And then after that, there became a fountain in that place. And this is like the same kind of explosion that sort of happens. And it's beautiful in that painting, which takes the color of New Orleans and all the sense of the water and everything. So beautiful.
Thank you,
And
Lois.
the integration with all the dancers, too.
That's great. Right behind Lois, a question? Thank you, Lois.
Oh, hi. I have two questions, actually. The artist, Nancy, how much is your dry cleaning bill? That was
The
only
NEA
one.
takes care of that, right?
Oh, wow. Okay, second one. Henry,
Yes.
you and I met about 1 million years ago when you were only 600 years old,
Oh, yes, okay, all right.
Do you, by any chance, remember? My voice is very distinctive.
The answer to that is yes, Henry.
Yes.
We met both at Berkeley and at whatever the jazz club is in Inman Square. Riles, thank you.
Riles. Okay.
Yes. And
All right.
I officially call myself the Henry Butler groupie. Don't you remember? No, nothing happened. No.
Maybe that's why he doesn't remember.
Ooh.
Yes, I
You're
remember. I remember.
bad.
Yeah, of course you do.
I remember.
What?
Yes, I remember. Yes.
May I have a hug?
We'll have to look at the
Please?
contract on that one. won't
Yeah.
we? Yeah.
We'll talk about that
Yeah, we'll
later.
definitely.
Okay.
A question. I
Nothing
see a
more.
hand about midway towards the back on the right. Right there. Okay.
I have a comment and a question. My comment, if you heard me talk at the panel this morning, I come from a musical family. And what I forgot to mention is that my son is now a musician in California playing similar music to the kind that Henry plays. And I want to thank you because you interpreters made me understand what's going on, and it was fabulous.
Thank you.
And I want to know from Nancy if the paintings are different at every concert, or are they similar?
The vocabulary is there, which I've gathered over the years, and I would say each painting's different, but the vocabulary's in there.
We'll do one more question right here. Third row, I think.
I've got two questions. Firstly to Nancy, when you approach a project like this, do you have any preconceived ideas of what you're going to paint, or is it all completely improvised?
What it is the rehearsals and spending time with people feed me, and then how I'm feeling that day feeds me, and what I ate feeds me, and how the audience feeds me, and so all that keeps coming into me, and so I often think, oh, that's what I'll start with, but when it starts, I end up on the other side, and I'm somewhere else. So I have certain, I knew I wanted to be quite literal, and I wanted to catch Henry with sort of nuances with the whole set list. Like, I kind of knew that, but I didn't know what it was going to be.
Henry, you say you use photography to expand your faculties. Has that in any way kind of crossed over and influenced your piano playing?
I think everything that we do influences everything that we do, period. I think we're only the sum total of our experiences. And as we are the sum total of those experiences, as we continue to add to those experiences, it helps everything else that we wind up doing. So yes, I mean, the effect on my piano playing, the effect upon how I listen to music is constantly changing. As I continue to amass new experiences, I realize new things all over the place.
Well, this is certainly a new thing for me. I'm grateful to Charlie and John for permitting me a most extraordinary kind of Ryan Seacrest moment for me personally. The best seat in the house for the hottest ticket undoubtedly in town. I had it, and I thank you all for that. And thanks again to Henry Butler, to Nancy Ostrovsky, Celia Hughes, Mickey Kranick, Ali Hirma, and who else? Jeanette, yes, Jeanette Ocampo-Welch. Thank you very much for all that. What a great experience. Good night, everybody.